Here on the Colour of Country Life, Flow FM, we're speaking with Cate Hunter, independent candidate for Frome. Welcome to the network.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Appreciate being here.
Now, you wear another hat as well. You're also a councillor on the Clare and Gilbert Valley Council. You've decided, though, that you want to put your hand up to operate at a different level as a state government MP.
Yes, that's correct, Ricky. I was approached by members of the community and asked if I would consider standing in the upcoming election. After a lot of, thought and consideration, I decided I would stand as an independent.
Now, Frome's got a bit of a history of having an independent, but the seat looks very different to when Geoff Brock held the seat. He's moving across to the seat of Stuart because Port Pirie's gone into that electorate. So it's a sort of an opportunity where no one's held the seat now. You think you've got a good chance of being elected as an independent?
Yes, that's very interesting that all was caused by shifts in the electoral boundaries. And so now Geoff is no longer able to stand as independent for Frome and has very happily endorsed me to take over that position. Of course, if I am elected, I'd be very honoured to follow in his footsteps and to continue his legacy in Frome.
Right, and so the communities that are now in the seat of Frome, you've made some comments about Eudunda and Kapunda and their health services. What are your concerns about the hospitals there?
Ricky, yes, I have grave concerns about the closure of the emergency department in both Kapunda, which is this week reopened, but Eudunda remains closed according to my information. I made calls there on Monday to check the status of the emergency departments and they remain closed. My concern is for the residents of Kapunda and of Eudunda who have expressed their grave worries and concerns to me around this. With conflicting media reports about whether the emergency departments are open or closed, it's unacceptable that regional communities should suffer this kind of uncertainty around the accessibility of their town's emergency department.
When it comes to those health services, it's sort of been a long-running question about whether those hospitals, what service level they'll keep providing and the staffing levels there. What's your vision for what you would want to see in terms of the continuing lifespan of those hospitals?
Absolutely, Ricky. This is a huge concern for me because many residents discuss accessibility to healthcare facilities in our region. And it's definitely one of the things I'll be standing on. One of my major focuses, should I be elected as a member for Frome, is improved access to healthcare facilities for all residents of our region. And upgrading our regional hospitals is definitely a part of this. Making us COVID ready for one thing. According to my information, as I understand it, the case for Kapunda Hospital, the reason why they've considered closing the facility, the emergency department, is because it shares an air conditioning system with the aged care facility on the same premises. Now, to me, that just requires appropriate funding from the government to stand behind their commitment to the health of regional communities and upgrade our regional hospitals to be able to cope so that we can care for our elderly as well as have our emergency departments open for the purpose for which they are intended.
Now, can I turn your mind to the question of roads? The Horrocks Highway has been a big headache throughout that electorate. There's some work being done on it, but there's still plenty of work to be done. What's your position on improving roads? You'd know a fair bit about this from a council perspective.
Absolutely, Ricky. Yes, this is huge for councils as well as of course, for state level of government. Again, as residents have brought this concern to me, that'll be one of my top priorities. My three top priorities for my platform are actually infrastructure and roads, economic vibrancy for our local economies, and of course healthcare, as we've been discussing. So the ongoing investment into our road system and infrastructure is of top priority for me.
Now, just lastly, Geoff Brock had a pizza with Jay Weatherall some years back to decide who would form government in a minority government situation. The Parliament at the moment is a minority government. Which way would you lean politically, Labor or Liberal, if it came down to your choice who should become the next Premier?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm likely to follow in Geoff's footsteps in that regard. If it was to come to that, if you recall, at that time, he actually asked for a delay of 2 weeks and then went around to his councils and spoke to his mayors, his CEOs and his councils and asked them what was their list of priorities for Frome at that time. Should he be in a position to be able to negotiate and bargain for certain things? And I'm likely to do the same. As you know, I'm similar to Geoff in that way. One of the reasons why he endorses me is because I actually have a council background just as he does. And that is my focus. I would likely do the same thing, and I would consult with my 7 councils in the new Frome, and I would ask them what are their priorities, what are their perspectives, and how can we obtain and negotiate for the best outcome for Frome.
So there's a chance their history could repeat in the sense that Geoff Brock then became the local government minister. Could you be a minister in the next government?
That's an interesting question, Ricky. I haven't actually considered that question yet. I guess I would take it as it comes.
All right. Well, Cate Hunter, great to talk with you about your priorities for the seat of Frome, and we'll keep tabs on how you're progressing and catch you again going into the new year and the March state election. Thanks for joining us today.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Ricky. I look forward to talking to you again.